Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there's some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. You're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness.
He's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where, like, Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in,
right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Everything changed at that point. They went and got Jonquil Jones, and they really had that triple threat monster team. That second year they lost in the WNBA Finals, 3-1 against the Las Vegas Aces. Year 3, they finally get over the top hump, and you can question whether they should have won the title with that foul call late in Game 5 that sent Breanna Stewart to the foul line.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Hour number 2 in full effect right here on the Early Line, the SportsGrid Network. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Ranieri. And the best part about what we do is we set the table for your SportsGrid day. 2 hours, we give you everything we have to set the table so you know exactly what you need to know for this day's games, what's going to happen later, and also, more importantly, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, the one thing that we don't do, Joe, we don't like to stay neutral. We like to give our opinions, and we like to settle it in and see what the people think. The reason I bring that up is, if you are the New York Jets, you are in a New York landscape with a lot of teams and a lot of mixed fan bases here. You don't want to upset anybody, specifically, and the Jets aren't getting a lot of, hey, you know what? They're 4-0, man. They could do no wrong at this point. So a tweet came out from the New York Jets that said, it was simple, good luck. And it has a picture of 3 Yankee players on there, which means go Yankees, win the series, beat the Boston Red Sox, and move on. But is it Jets, Mets? Giants, Yankees? Are you allowed to mix that fandom? Is anybody look at this like, Jets, what are you doing out here?
Yeah, no, it's
what is it?
Strictly, it's Yankees, and then you can mix and match anybody else there, Donnie. The Mets don't come into play. Even Met fans wouldn't admit that it matters there, whether it's Jets or Giants. You know, the bottom line is just win. That's the bottom line when it comes to the New York teams there. But yeah, the Yankees have been at the top of the heap for quite some time now. So it's usually just Yankee fans, and then the Jets and Giants chime in with them, so to speak.
By the way, like, I always like to knock the Yankees a little bit because, again, the 27 World Championships doesn't count if they happened like 100 years ago at this point now, though. Should it be like the Yankees should be like 1 championship since 2009? Like, shouldn't that be what they're posting all over the billboards out there at Yankee Stadium? And come on, we can't live in the past. Like, does anybody care about they won something in 1920? Come on.
Well, listen, I mean, you got to be in it to win it, right? And, well, they were in it last year and didn't get it done, but yet here they are again. Where are the Mets? Exactly. What golf course are they playing this week, Donnie? Let me know if you find out.
Exactly. And the same thing like we talk about like the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they shouldn't be like Lombardi should disappear out of your trophy case every 20 years. So technically, like, the Cowboys don't have one because just about their entire fan base has never seen a Super Bowl game where they played in it, let alone a victory. Like, they should evaporate and disappear, like rotating only for every 20 years. Like the PGA Tour. You win a major championship, Joe. What do you get? 10 years on the tour? They give you the card for it.
Right.
Well, when you're 10 years up, you didn't win anything. You get to go home at that point. It expires. It's not a get out of jail free card for life at this point. some food for thought there for the Dallas Cowboys. America's team never wins anything. Are they really America's team? They're really not. But as I digress, let's get to some of the hottest topics, Joe. The early lineup is here. Jaden Daniels. He's an NFC East foe here going up against the Chargers. He says, you know what? I got cleared. I'm ready to go. My team needs me.
Yeah, and again, it's I'm going to be interested to see how this offense continues to progress under him. Hope the injury doesn't limit him. I really do, because he wasn't exactly lighting up the scoreboard early on in the season with the two starts that he had. So I was impressed with the offense when Mariota was under center. I thought they did a pretty good job. He needs to come in here and elevate this offense. Let's see how he does here.
Let's see. In need of a win there. We'll see if they can get it against a team that got embarrassed a little bit last week in their loss to the New York Giants and Jackson Dart's first start. We'll see how that one plays out. San Francisco 49ers, they're going to play tonight. Their uniforms, Joe, will be out there. The question is, how are some of those guys in the uniforms? Like, who's that guy? Never heard of him before. Oh, he's got to step up and make a play. They're over touchdown underdogs now with all those injuries.
Listen, they might have guys out on the field that have no names on their jersey because it's going to be that kind of game time decision here, Donnie, because they have absolutely no idea who is going to be healthy enough to play. There are depth issues, guys off of practice squads. I mean, it is a walking mash unit right now for the 49ers, which again is why we're starting to see 44.5 as a total now. This opened up 47.5. Now we're starting to see 44.5, and it's continuing to drop. Definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Could be a game time decision. By the way, great name for a show. One of these companies should be able to pick that up and coin that phrase and have a great show that starts at 6:30 p.m., runs till 8 o'clock, right up to these game times. Maybe some of these organizations should think about that. How about that? Lamar Jackson playing coy. When you are a quarterback and you are built on speed and mobility and getting out of the pocket, and you hurt your hamstring enough where you have to come out of a football game, and then you don't show up at practice on a Wednesday, you're supposed to probably miss Sunday's game. But the Ravens are like, I'm not telling you anything, Jack.
Okay. Does anybody really think he's playing? No. I don't think so. But if he does, how effective is he going to be anyway? It's not going to change the fact that this was a 9.5 point look ahead favorite spot for the Ravens at home. And now they're a dog. So this is... the market doesn't seem to think he's going to be anywhere near the field for this game.
Basically posting on social media, I hate my quarterback. I hate some of the people in this organization. Then come out and say, it wasn't about my quarterback or anybody in this organization. I'm ready to play football, which either means they had a nice meeting and a come to Jesus where it's like, hey, look, first quarter, you're going to get 5 targets. They're going to be simple slip screens here. Do what you got to do. We'll get you involved. It's like, you know what? Bet. I like that here. A.J. Brown. Holding up for the wide receivers like nobody else. Wide receivers are crazy people here. And A.J. Brown, he's crazy, but I love him.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, says team player like A.J. Brown. A 4-0 team right now. You haven't lost a game, it feels like, in 2 years. I mean, things are rolling, and he is just the consummate team player in that locker room. I'm sure of it, Donnie. It's definitely not all about him. No way.
By the way, the biggest loser as a teammate I've ever seen throughout my 48 years on this planet was Russell Westbrook, because I generally thought that he would tell you, give me my triple-double. I don't care if we win a single game. That's all I care about. It's the reason why he's never won a championship. He's a horrible teammate. As long as he got his, he didn't care. The Eagles are sitting at 4-0. He's upset about that, which is crazy. Also, when the Eagles were making their playoff runs, if he wasn't getting the football, he was pouting on the sideline and reading books here because he was upset he wasn't getting the ball, even though they were winning football games. It's just the wide receiver code of ethics here. It's just the way it goes down. How about the Big Ten? Give us $2 billion. I don't know what for, but we'll take the money. And does that mean at the end of this run that the private equity firm or whatever owns the Big Ten? I don't even know what the heck's going on here, except a lot of money is about to get exchanged of hands.
No, I mean, it's, you gotta afford. You got to afford these players now, Big Ten. So, where is that money coming from? It better be coming from somebody or some source here, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of the haves and the have-nots here, Donnie. Yeah. This was always heading in this direction once they started paying players.
Colorado Buffalo's here, not having a great season, and yet they're fined $50,000 because their fan base is chanting not nice things over there to BYU. By the way, would they have gotten fined $50,000 if the chants were like, drink some Pepsi, clap, 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 clap? Like, you could probably say a lot of things at BYU, but are they all finable offenses?
Yeah, I seem to think that every time BYU is played on the road here over the last, I don't know, 100 years, it feels like there might have been some things being said in those and chants in there that weren't great. I don't ever remember hearing about a $50,000 fine, Donnie, for other fan bases. Never heard of that.
You just get the $50,000 fine for running onto the field and knocking down the goalpost here, but now chanting there. And also, if you want to be devious, like Colorado, you bring 15 of your friends along, make up a bad chant, and you just keep fining them $50,000 as it goes. Do you remember some of those games like, you throw another orange on this field, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty? Well, the opposing fan base just starts launching oranges on the field with jerseys of the opposing team. There you go. Perfect way to have it out here. By the way, the Dodgers, they advanced. We all thought they would advance at this point, Joe, right? Easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks, Reds, for participating again in this year's wild card, knocking out the Mets. That was nice of you. But, the big boys have to go now and try to win a World Series again.
Here we go. Philadelphia, Los Angeles, at Philly, Saturday night, Citizens Bank Ballpark. Red October, baby. Nothing like it. We're going to talk some NFL action for this weekend's games next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Well, Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there is some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. You're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness. That's
he's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where, like, Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in.
Right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
You ever hear the drag racing commercials, Joe? Sunday, 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 Oakland Coliseum. Well, that's what we're going to talk about Sunday this weekend. And yes, the Jets are sending out tweets. Good luck, Yankees. Maybe some good luck themselves as they need some victories here. I don't know if they get it this weekend, but they're not a heavy underdog. The Dallas Cowboys come to town at MetLife as 2.5-point favorites over the New York Jets. Yeah, they move the football. Yes, you had some decent looks there from Justin Fields. I still don't believe he's an NFL quarterback at this point, but yards should be easy to accumulate in this game. Two bad defenses, Joe, and a total of 47.5. do the Jets end up beating the Dallas Cowboys, or they try to run that formula of we're just going to run the football with Breece Hall and our quarterback the entire game and slow this thing down? Do we get points or don't we get points in this game?
Yeah, I don't. The public loves the Cowboys here, Don, but we're not seeing any. This thing has not hit 3 at all, and I don't think it's going to either here. But you mentioned, we got 2 terrible defenses statistically here. But I think people are forgetting it's not like the Jets have not put up points here. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Not to mention that Dallas has allowed at least 24 points in all 4 games and at least 31 in the past 3. So there is no reason to think that points aren't coming in this game between these 2 teams. And I can't trust Dallas's defense to make a stop on the road. So I already gave you that stat earlier in the spread line that Dak Prescott on the road against sub 500 teams has not been great. I don't trust Dallas in this spot either. I think the Jets are another good 6-point teaser option this week at 8.5.
Well, you look at the Jets and the Cowboys, it's almost like an easy game that you can put your finger on who is going to Dak Prescott over 2 touchdown passes. You know it's going to happen. Pickens probably going to score a touchdown. And you go, well, Donnie, I don't like the Jets offense that much, but here's one thing 47, 48 yards on the ground for Fields, check that off. Breece Hall's total between rushing and receiving, check that off. And Garrett Wilson to go over 60 yards and probably get a touchdown catch. It feels like a perfect game to bet. Even if it's these 2 defenses are bad and I don't like the Jets offense. I just gave you the pathway of how you could possibly make money in that game. I'll tell you a game that might be a little bit harder to make money. The Giants and the New Orleans Saints. Hey, love what the Giants did. First start there for Jackson Dart in New York. They beat a really competent football team in the Chargers. Can they do the same thing now on the road against Spencer Rattler, who actually showed a little bit of fight there in Buffalo? Not a great football team, but New Orleans is the favorite here and a total of around 41.5. Dart, Rattler, head-to-head.
This is, again, a public darling here, the Giants against the Saints in this one here, Donnie. They really do. And listen, with such a low total at 40.5, 41, Donnie, and the fact that we can get the Giants over a touchdown and a 6-point teaser, that has got to be an option for us this week, too, as well, because I don't see the Saints running over anybody here. I believe they should be the favorite as the home team. I think they showed a lot of moxie there against Buffalo. I think if I can get the Giants at 7.5, 6-point teaser it is for me.
Joe, any extra motivation? Because I always like this, and I think it's stupid all the time. Like, hey, the Saints passed me over. Extra motivation to go down and beat the New Orleans Saints. Do you ever buy into that? Do you?
No, there's no extra motivation at all for anybody here. It's just try to survive and move on, especially when you're talking about these 2 teams who are clearly in or should be in rebuild mode. We know New Orleans is, but now there's something to be excited about for the Giants. And I think the key to this one is going to be that Giants defense, not Jackson Dart. Can the Giants defense show up again, Donnie?
Should be a fun one down there in New Orleans. Yeah, not really. How about this one, though? Should be a fun one in Philadelphia. Denver and Philadelphia. How about this? Bo Nix and Jalen Hurts. You have all the camaraderie in the locker room for the Philadelphia Eagles right now going up against the Denver Broncos. Have a good coach in Sean Payton. Look at this line. Opened up at 4.5, Joe. Some outlets still have 4.5, but most have moved on to the 3.5 and a total of 43.5. Philadelphia, a horrible second half, but still picked up a victory against a good Tampa Bay team. Now they come home. Expectations for you. Knicks versus Hurts.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm going to be interested to see where this goes here. Will the hook still be available? Come kickoff here.
Yep.
I'm going to be interested. We know Denver. This is a put up or shut up time for them. I mean, listen, Philadelphia. What else can you do? You won all 4 games, although kind of in head scratching fashion a lot of times. Yep. But I think it's going to be important for Denver early to be in this game, Donnie, because if they're not in it early, then they're going to have to make one of those crazy comebacks here. Tampa fell a little bit short doing it, but we seem to have a second half issue here with Philadelphia this year, letting some teams back into games. So to me, I think the first half with Denver, if you like them, they have to be within striking distance by the time the third quarter starts. So I would look maybe for Denver in early in this one if you think they got a shot at pulling off the upset.
By the way, how about the Philadelphia Eagles, too, as you take a look at it, right? Talk about Jekyll and Hyde against the Rams. They had like 10 yards in the first half, blew the doors off the Rams in the second. Then you have a great first half in Tampa, and you couldn't move the football in the second half against the Bucs. Make it make sense. It doesn't at this point. You know what else doesn't make sense? The Baltimore Ravens are underdogs at home to a team under 500. Why? Because the entire Ravens team feels like it's injured. But having said that, Joe, pull me off the ledge. I want to take Baltimore in this football game. I think Baltimore can get to 20 points in this football game. Should I be doing that with Cooper Rush? The defense looks like it stinks for the Ravens, but the offense, I know Lamar Jackson isn't there, but can't Cooper Rush be just a pawn piece out there to say, hey, Derek, have the football. Say Flowers, here, have the football. Can't they move the football?
I mean, when you start going down this list here, forget about Lamar. I mean, Ronnie Stanley not there. 3 more defensive starters not going to be there. I mean, it's got 7 starters altogether, Donnie, on that side of the ball there are going to be absent for this game. And I still don't trust Houston to get it done, Donnie, on the road in Baltimore. I think Harbaugh has to do the coaching job of the year here. And I think Cooper Rush is more than capable of winning this game for Baltimore.
By the way, last week, the Tennessee Titans played the Houston Texans. And I swear, thank God for the second half, because I ended up picking up a prop bet on C.J. Stroud. That was the worst football game you could ever ask any NFL person to watch who is a fan of. Now they go on the road like, yes, they won with a shutout over the Titans. How much credit do you get? And also understand this. Baltimore is injured, but they're also wounded as well. What I mean by this, they can't afford another loss. They were 10-point favorites, now underdogs in their own building. That's a crazy line to deal with. More NFL hot topics for this weekend's games up next on the early line.
Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there's some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. That's you're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness. That's
he's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where like Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in.
Right? It's more so. Right. Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Everything changed at that point. They went and got Jonquel Jones, and they really had that triple threat monster team. That second year they lost in the WNBA Finals, 3-1 against the Las Vegas Aces. Year 3, they finally get over the top hump. You can question whether they should have won the title with that foul call late in Game 5 that sent Breanna Stewart to the foul line.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
More Sunday football. Why? Because it's our job to get you ready. Look, money never sleeps. The lines are always moving. Information is traveling on a minute-to-minute basis. And it's up to us on the early line in the SportsGrid network to keep you in the know. Well, Donnie, why don't you take a look at a game between Tampa and Seattle? Why? Because injuries are going to play a big factor in this game as well. Baker Mayfield came out of the football game last week a little bit banged up, still having that issue with his bicep. He said he's going to be just fine this weekend. The question, though, Bucky Irvin, your talented young tailback here. Multiple injuries. He's questionable for this game. Mike Evans hasn't even resumed getting back on the practice field just yet. However, Seattle at home in the Pacific Northwest, only a 3 to 3.5 point favorite right now. It is tough now because I always look at the Buccaneers. Like, Mayfield is that just powder keg in the backfield that can give you and wide receivers don't care, I make it happen. My running back's not here, don't care, I'll make it happen. It doesn't matter. But how do we feel about Tampa playing in 100-degree temperatures, getting banged up last week, now traveling 3,000+ miles across the continent to the Pacific Northwest to take on those Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah, I love it. As long as you can get the hook, I love Tampa Bay in this spot. And here's a couple of reasons why. First of all, Baker Mayfield is 15-6 against the number, Donnie, almost 72% as an underdog with the Tampa Bay Bucks. And by the way, that's 8-2 against the number when he's getting more than a field goal. And as far as the Bucky Irving missing the game, do you know what he was averaging yards per carry? 3.3. Do you know what Rachaad White is averaging? 4.7. So the fact that Bucky Irvin is not going to be there is not, to me, Rachaad White is more than capable of getting this done here. I do like road dogs getting more than a field goal that are more than capable of A, stopping the run, which Tampa is, and B, has a fearless quarterback to go in there. 12th man be damned. I like Tampa there. Sprinkle a little something on the money line as well.
Yeah, what a gamer. What a gamer Baker Mayfield is at that point. Almost like doesn't care who he has. He's still going to ride into that game regardless, and we'll see what happens in the Pacific Northwest. And that could be a key game for deciding some playoff seeding down the line, something to pay attention to. I'll tell you a game that's probably not going to matter about playoff seeding. That's Detroit absolutely beating down the Cincinnati Bengals. But as we know, lines are there for a reason. The public can't get enough for Detroit. Their future look-ahead line was 7.5. It's ballooned up to 10.5 at just about every outlet, and a total 48.5. The question for me never was like, okay, Joe Burrow is going to be injured, but Jake Browning's a capable backup. Are we saying they can see the same heights that they saw with Joe Burrow? No, but you expected, Joe, a competent offense. Now they're incompetent on offense and defense at the same time. And Detroit is notoriously headhunting football teams that can't compete and will happily bust 50 on a team. The question is, do they run away with this game enough to be a double-digit favorite on the road outside the dome, Joe?
Well, of course they do. And again, I'll say this. I like this Detroit defense more than I like their offense. I think the defense is better this year than the offense. And I think the defense is going to, again, make it almost impossible for the Bengals to run the ball. They only allow 3.8 yards per carry, this defense, which means Jake Browning is going to have to beat you with his arm. Yeah, good luck with that. Don't see that happening here. I would split it in half, though, because I think Detroit punches first. I think them in the first half is a good look because I think this game is over by the time the third quarter comes, and then it's going to be a whole lot of running and keep away. So, yeah, Detroit early for me in this one.
Jaden Daniels going to play this weekend for Washington, going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. That line opened up around 3. It's mostly -2.5, depending where you're shopping at, in a total of 48.5. It's always tough to understand what we're going to get out of a quarterback coming back from a knee injury, particularly a mobile quarterback, not just a pocket quarterback in Jaden Daniels. How do you play this game knowing that the Chargers lost last week? They're probably upset about that, but also they got some key injuries going on their side of the football as well, Joe.
Yeah, to me, it's an over, Donnie. Herbert's going to have to, now that he's missing both tackles, they're going to have to get that passing game, that quick passing game going here. And this is Washington's third road game in 4 weeks. And of course, cross country, too, as well. So I do think there's going to be a little bit of fatigue on the defensive side for both these teams. It would not shock me if this game flies into the 50s.
I'll tell you what game I actually expect to go into the 50s, too. Sunday Night Football, Joe. New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Not great defenses and offenses that are moving the football here. 49.5 is the price point here. And how about the look-ahead line, Joe? 10.5. That's now down to 8.5 and 8 to some outlets here. Trust in the Patriots to cover on the road against the Bills?
There is your other side of the teaser. Take the Bills down to 2.5. All you need them is to win the game by a field goal, which, Donnie, I believe this game will be closer than many people think.
By the way, I do love that offense for the Buffalo Bills. They can beat you in so many different ways. Couple touchdown passes on the docket in that game for each quarterback. Could be. Let's switch it over to NCAA football. Big game. Let's go, Canes.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
60,000 drunk New Yorkers who were there from 5 in the morning to 7 p.m., who dropped a house mortgage on a ticket to watch the United States team miss every putt that they can possibly miss, and you think someone's not going to get pissed off and curse people out? Wah! The golf fan wasn't civil. Wah!
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
$341 million of payroll. Best record in Major League Baseball through June 12th. 5th worst record after that. They would have made the playoffs, as his tweet says, because why? They just needed a win on Sunday versus Miami, and they couldn't beat the Marlins, who have like a $50 million payroll. The Metropolitans are out, but hey guys, did you see Juan Soto's great season?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Not betting-wise, action-wise. Like, I got to watch this game at 12.
I want to see Notre Dame, Arkansas. I want to see.
He's in, people. He's in.
I'll tell you another
Notre
game.
Dame.
It's under. I want to see Duke and Syracuse at 12:45.
Nobody wants to see that game.
Stop.
I mean, there's people that we know that would like that game, but we don't want to watch that game. You know what I mean? We're not watching any of that game.
Ricky Collins?
Big
Ricky Collins?
game Saturday, Joe.
Okay,
I need your focus back for this. It's the SEC. It just means more.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
We're so wrapped up in the NFL right now, Major League Baseball. Sometimes yet you forget there's going to be a full Saturday slate with a lot of good games that you can certainly pick off and have some fun with, Joe. And we bring up some of these college football teams that are fun to watch, which includes Miami and Florida State. The reason why I bring this game up is, yes, it's going to be a great rivalry game, and maybe Florida State can pull the upset, or maybe Miami can actually win an ACC championship game this year. But the one thing we can't dispute, that Florida State offense, Joe, moves the football. How about 600 yards per game? 600, Joe. That's impressive.
Yeah, but they also haven't really played anybody since Alabama way back in that first game, which feels like an eternity ago. But there is no doubt that Florida State offensively, with Gus Malzahn as the OC here and Tommy Castellanos, they are able to run teams over with that inside zone that he loves to run, that he did at Alabama and other places there, UCF. If you can't stop the run, Gus Malzahn's offense will light you up, and that's what he has been doing to teams. I don't understand his total, Donnie. We talked about it yesterday on the spread lines.
Correct.
How is this total dropping to 53.5? There is, and again, I guess because Miami's defense not giving up a whole lot of points this year, but they have not faced an offense like this yet. Plus, they're on the road. Doak Campbell is going to be hopping here. I think, listen, I trust Miami's defense to make more stops when it matters, but I think we're going to be way over 53.5 points when this game is all said and done.
Sounds like it, too, because understand this. You got extra rest for Miami, so extra time to prepare for Florida State, get that game plan in. And also, you had a Friday night football game, which Florida State lost to Virginia. I sort of wish they won that, because you would have been looking at, Joe, 2 top 7 football teams, if you will, that would have been colliding this weekend, would have been a little bit more fun. But still, there is a rivalry. How do you feel about that -4.5? Because that's not really moving all that much. And by the way, most of the ticket counts that I'm seeing coming in on Florida State, but a line that opened up at 3.5 now sits 4.5 for Miami.
It's been all Florida State money since this thing opened up here. So, the look-ahead line was bigger than that, 6.5 for Miami. So to tell you that it's down to 4.5 here, it tells you exactly where it's all been going. It's all been Florida State. And I get it. At home, they got the loss out of the way. Now they can focus on Miami. They might have been looking ahead a little bit here. Yeah, it's. I think Miami makes enough plays to eventually win and cover this game, but I think the total is the value play.
How about another fun game here? Indiana and Oregon. Two good offenses going to go toe-to-toe. This one, Joe, 52.5 as we look at it. And Oregon as the favorite at minus 10.5. Actually, hold on. Am I doing the right game right now at this point? Indiana, Oregon? Is that what we got?
Yeah, that is not correct. I don't believe there. But that's okay. I mean, we can. Yeah.
We're previewing.
Yeah, we can.
No, hold on. This is 2 weeks in advance, Joe. I'm looking at this going, man, this missed my board right here. Indiana, Oregon is going to be a fun game to break down for 10-11, a week in advance. Look, Joe, we have the people set up so well that we're going a week out in advance at this point. I love to see it.
I was like, how did I miss this game? I'm like, my goodness, how did we miss this game? I'm like, oh, yeah, that game didn't happen yet. But we will cover that game in big, and I mean in a big way in a couple of weeks here.
Love to see it here. Let's head back down to the SEC and get back into a game that will be played this weekend. That's Vanderbilt and Alabama, Joe. Two teams ranked. Well, yeah, Alabama plays ranked teams all the time. They never play Vanderbilt when they're ranked. Could it be back-to-back performances where Diego Pavia and the Commodores beat Alabama? This time they'll have to do it in Tuscaloosa. A 10.5-point favorite for Vandy, a total of 55.5. Kalen DeBoer, you lose this, you lose your job, pal.
Yeah, well, we've seen Vandy taking the money here. Alabama opened up as a 12-point favorite, 12.5-point favorite in a lot of spots, and we've seen nothing but Vandy money dropping this thing down. Listen, Alabama held on for dear life against Georgia in that game in the second half there, but they were able to get the win here. And Vandy and Clark Lee and Diego Pavia, listen, they're playing with house money, and they're playing like it, Donnie, like they've got nothing to lose, which makes them extremely dangerous. I still have some questions about this Bama team and the quarterback play, but I understand why the market is running towards Vanderbilt right now, but I do think the Bama money comes in late here, Donnie.
Now, Joe, do you want to go back to Indiana, Oregon and do a little second loop around for next week's game? We could preview this game for 10 straight days here. It's going to be so big, so much fun for the big SIG out there. But we can't do that. We'll get to that game next weekend. How about this one coming up next? It's Texas and Florida. If you looked at the counts, you know what? If Florida's a good football team, this could be real interesting. Florida is not a good football team. However, Texas leaves a lot to be desired with Arch Manning at quarterback, and this is a big step-up moment, not because Florida doesn't have a great record. You're playing in a hostile environment against a really good defense. Looking at the sides itself, minus 7.5 on the look-ahead. Texas is now under a touchdown at most outlets, Joe. That's 6.5. Look at the look-ahead total, 51.5. That's down to 41.5 for a Steve Sarkisian offense and a guy that we thought might be the Heisman favorite entering into the season. Texas and Florida from Gainesville. Expectations, Joe, or what?
Not a lot of points. Look at that total, 41.5 here, Donnie. And this is another dead under. Texas's defense is fantastic as well. Let's not act like somebody's going to come in Florida's offense and Lagway, who can't figure out what jersey to throw it to, is going to light up this Texas defense. It's not. And this Texas offense, their inefficiency, their inability to be able to score in the red zone has been an issue here. And it's not like Florida's that defense is just going to let you get inside the 10-yard line all the time and score points. They are elite, this Florida defense here. Not to mention they've had a week off to prepare for this. I like unders everywhere in this. I like unders in the first quarter. I like unders in the first half. And I like unders in the full game. This is going to be a rock fight in the swamp here, and I'm all for it.
Crazy. Like, we're talking about one of the most hyped quarterback sensations we've ever seen. We're talking about games being in rock fights. Should be the opposite. Like, yeah, I don't care who he's playing. He's going to light that defense up. You got weapons at wideout, at tailback, and Sark calling the playbook for you. Come on, Arch. Step up in the swamp. If you got any of that metal, you want to be the number one overall pick, win football games like this. I know it's a 1-3 football team. Step up and score 28-plus points, and away you go. Let me ask you a question about this one, Joe. 4 o'clock on Saturday. I don't know if you'll be watching. Oklahoma versus Kent State. I love this game. It's minus 45.5 as a total. Could we see 45-0 at the half where they cover that spread or maybe lose by the hook? I mean, come on, 45.5 points in a college football game.
Well, it's even funnier that Kent State's team total is 2.5, Donnie.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the funny part. But again, you got to keep in mind, it's a backup quarterback for Oklahoma. And even with a backup quarterback for OU right now, it's the defense that is going to limit what Kent State can do. But Kent State has scored at least 10 points against Power 4 teams here this season. So, to me, this game is going to be all about the backdoor cover with the team total. 2.5, 3, 3.5. They're going to get a touchdown in this game. They're going to get an empty netter in the fourth quarter in this game when the third and fourth stringers are playing for OU. But I don't believe that OU is going to drop 60 points here. I do think that they'll control this game, of course, try to get out of there without any injuries. But I do believe that Kent State's going to be able to punch it into the end zone. That team total is hilarious.
Over 3.5 at plus 132. It's almost like they're baiting because the chances of you go, they'll get 250. No, they're not going to kick 250. Trust me, that would be interesting if this game was, 61-3 with 30 seconds left to go, and Kent State lines up for a 51-yarder to try to get to that 6 points here. Then you might have an investigation to see who's actually on what in that game. But those are interesting to watch. Where very rare you see a team, not first quarter, not a team total for the game at 3.5. That's absolutely incredible here. But college football this weekend should be sensational. Miami, Florida State at night, battle in the ACC. We love that. The NFL card is absolutely fantastic. Win over as many games as you possibly can today. 3 games on deck for Major League Baseball. And you know who else is coming up next? It's Cam Stewart, the Prime Minister of the SportsGrid Network. We need some help on some situations. Cam will deliver. We'll see him next.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
60,000 drunk New Yorkers who were there from 5 in the morning to 7 p.m., who dropped a house mortgage on a ticket to watch the United States team miss every putt that they can possibly miss, and you think someone's not going to get pissed off and curse people out? Wah! The golf fan wasn't civil. Wah!
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
$341 million of payroll. Best record in Major League Baseball through June 12th. 5th worst record after that. They would have made the playoffs, as this tweet says, because why? They just needed a win on Sunday versus Miami, and they couldn't beat the Marlins, who have like a $50 million payroll. The Metropolitans are out, but hey guys, did you see Juan Soto's great season?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Not betting-wise, action-wise. Like, I got to watch this game at 12.
I want to see Notre Dame, Arkansas. I want to see.
He's in, people. He's in.
I'll
He's
tell you
in
another
Notre
game.
Dame.
It's under. I want to see Duke and Syracuse at 12:45.
Nobody wants to see that game.
Stop.
I mean, there's people that we know that would like that game, but we don't want to watch that game. You know what I mean? We're not watching any of that
Ricky
game.
Collins?
Big game Saturday, Joe.
Okay,
I need your focus back for this. It's the SEC. It just means more.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Sports, and more sports. That's what we do on the Early Line and on the SportsGrid Network. We tell you each and every day. We set the table for the rest of the SportsGrid day to get you in the know for all the information that you need. Now, I'm Donnie Rightside. I can only give you so much information. He's my sidekick, Joe Ranieri. He's only got so much information. To fill in that full piece of the pie, we got to bring in some help. And today it's the Prime Minister of SportsGrid. It's Cam Stewart. The energy is always there at Cam, and so much energy is needed, even this afternoon, Cam.
I love it. You guys talking Kent State football. Can they get there?
Come on.
Kent State, remember the first week I'm on Merrimack. They almost beat these guys outright. Like, it was like, okay, let's go Golden Flashes. But no, crazy stuff, Donnie. I'm watching this European golf, too, early in the morning here, and I see Dustin Johnson leading. I'm like, wow, we have a Dustin Johnson sighting. That's pretty crazy. And I'm looking, I'm like, all these guys who won the European Ryder Cup are playing. Like, I'd still be drunk. Like, I don't know, they're out there trying doing it again. These golfers are relentless when it comes to cash, right, Joe? More yachts, more money, more champagne, more caviar. These guys want it all. Relentless.
Cam, let's get to the good stuff, too, because maybe they play because they got to get the lactic acid out, right? Like, hey, man, we had a lot of alcohol. The best way to do it is work out and play through it at this point. The Ryder Cup was terrible for the Americans here on the first 2 days, which were Friday and Saturday. Sunday, we almost got an all-timer down the stretch, but Europe had such an insurmountable lead. They just had to basically half one of the matches, it felt like. What was your take on the Ryder Cup where Team USA is never a team? They're individuals playing and trying to get through the Ryder Cup. When the European team, they relish that team concept.
The thing is, the Americans obviously want to win the same, but there are more cliques in the American team than Europe. They have that full team attitude. Joe and I talked about it too, Donnie. You remember. What did I say the problem was? I told you Colin Morikawa was a bad pick. He sucked. And I don't understand what Keegan Bradley did, throwing him and Harris English out again after a loss. Like, J.J. Spawn played great. We had top American rookie with Cam Young. And the bottom line is this. If you're going to put out Harris English and Colin Morikawa twice to lose twice, Keegan Bradley needed the stones to say, I'm going to play. Because he's better than Colin Morikawa. It's that simple. It is, like, honestly, Donnie, like, if you're going to be captain, I don't mind the playing captain. I understand you want to put other guys on the team. You don't want to look like that guy. Hey, I'm putting me on. But then he's better than these guys. He had a great year. And he also has the Ryder Cup mentality. Attack, attack, attack. Like, some of these guys who are docile in golf, it's good. It's good for a regular season. In the Ryder Cup, you need passion. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I liked some of the guys on the American team. Like, DeChambeau might piss people off, but he's got passion. That's like Ty Hatton. And guys, Tommy Fleetwood is money in the bank in these type of tournaments. Joe, Donnie, we talked about this. Top points, top European player, 6-1. Like, this is crazy stuff. Here's how you bet the Ryder Cup until it changes. Day one session, Europe. First session, day one, Europe. Second, and then you take the Americans in the singles. It's like rinse and repeat, guys. This is happening all the time now. And I got to tell you, that course, it's not a good course, advantage. Next time the captain's there, you got to find a course that suits the Americans more. I thought the course was a leveler. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
They took the teeth out of Bethpage Black.
Yes.
I didn't understand what they were doing with the setup there is beyond me. So, but hey, you live and learn there. I do see Eric Cole is on the tee box at the Sanderson Farms, Cam. I'm guessing you have a ticket. I'm just saying, I'm guessing you have a ticket on him. He's your favorite golfer that nobody's ever heard of to bet on.
Yeah, good old Cole Kane. This guy's I'll tell you, this guy will lead you to drink Jaeger bombs. Him and Steven Jaeger. These guys, like two guys I want to take out. Great in the bar, horrible on the links. But I'll tell you, Joe, this week, I actually like Michael Thorbjornsson, the Stanford kid at 25-1 that I took, guys. And this tournament just teed off. We can look at this. And Minwoo Lee is 22-1. And I'm looking at this weekend field. He looks good. And Joe, a little deeper dive. Who does really well in the fall season? Canadians. Mackenzie Hughes has won this tournament before, 55-1. Some of these guys hasn't teed off, but remember these names, and I hope Homa does well, too, for a top 20. I think he's dangerous. A lot of the golfing experts like Rico Hoey this week, the most talented Filipino golfer in the world, I like him for a top 20 at plus 160.
Love to see it here, Cam. We got 3 elimination games in Major League Baseball today. Detroit, Cleveland, San Diego, Chicago, as well as Boston and New York. Any eyes on the prize on any one of these 3 games, Cam?
Yeah, it was great. We had a nice 4-gamer. I was telling you guys before we got on there. That was it was crazy. With Cincinnati go up 2-0, but the Dodgers in the over, they capped it. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I know Ciccone can be a little bit, hit and miss, but so can Flaherty. Is this the game that it finally opens up with these offenses? I'm taking the Cleveland Guardians. Second game, I'm having a little bit of a problem with Tyone and Darvish. I'm going to go with the Padres, but that's more of a lean, Donnie. I like Cleveland a lot. Yankees don't like the price, but I think they get it done. Boston using a lot of arms. We'll see what happens. And as a Blue Jay fan, they went 8-5 against Boston this year and 8-5 against the Yankees. So who would you rather play? But in my heart, I'd rather play the New York Yankees than the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins. What the? Oh, hockey's back.
He wants it. He wants it. He wants
by the way,
it. That's
Donnie,
not a Freudian slip.
never
He
changed.
wants it.
Buffalo Sabres minus 260 preseason versus Pittsburgh. They're even screwing people in the preseason. Betting Sabres will put you in a cardboard box. That's my tip.
It's good.
Absolutely love it. What about tonight, Cam, Thursday Night Football? You leaning Rams? You leaning, what are you doing here?
I'm actually going to use the Rams as a survivor pick. The 49ers are so banged up. Originally, I was thinking if they were healthy, 3.5. Now we're getting 7.5, guys. I don't really like the spread, and Brady Cannon and a lot of the other smart guys at SportsGrid, perfect teaser material, too, if you bring the Rams down. I think they're going to, win this game by probably a touchdown. It's a good number by the books, hanging that 7.5, 8 there. That hook could be very important, but I'm going to take the Rams tonight. And you guys know, what is the most popular survivor pick this week? It's going to be the Arizona Cardinals probably against Tennessee because Tennessee is an ass. That's what their own quarterback's calling them that.
That's
this
true.
Team watching them, honestly, like they put give me gray hair. They put lines. I got enough lines in my forehead. That team sucks. But I'm going to take the Rams as the survivor pick tonight. I think they get it done. We hit last week Seattle and the under both by the hook. I think this game might be under too. I'm not sure how the 49ers offense is going to score on that Rams defense.
By the way, Cam gives us a lot of information, but also Cam just gave me one of the more fire nicknames for a baseball player. Yu Darvish will now be called Yarvish on this network here.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic by Cam right there. By the way, Cam, NHL next weekend. How we feeling? Come on now. Opening night, Florida. Tough night. Come on.
Drop the puck. I love hockey. I'll tell you this. Watch out for the Anaheim Ducks point total over 82.5. I think they're going to make major improvements this year.
Gems, all gems. He's Cam Stewart. Love to see him. Thanks for joining us here, Cam. We'll talk to you soon. No doubt about it. Joe and Donnie closing it out next.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
60,000 drunk New Yorkers who were there from 5 in the morning to 7 p.m., who dropped a house mortgage on a ticket to watch the United States team miss every putt that they can possibly miss, and you think someone's not going to get pissed off and curse people out? Wah! The golf fan wasn't civil. Wah!
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
$341 million of payroll. Best record in Major League Baseball through June 12th. 5th worst record after that. They would have made the playoffs, as his tweet says, because why? They just needed a win on Sunday versus Miami, and they couldn't beat the Marlins. They have like a $50 million payroll. The Metropolitans are out, but hey guys, did you see Juan Soto's great season?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Not betting wise, action wise. Like I got to watch this game at 12.
I want to see Notre Dame, Arkansas. I want to see.
He's in, people. He's in.
I'll
He's
tell you
in
another
Notre
game.
Dame.
It's under. I want to see Duke and Syracuse at 12:45.
Nobody wants to see that game.
Stop.
I mean, there's people that we know that would like that game, but we don't want to watch that game. You know what I mean? We're not watching any of that
Ricky
game.
Collins?
Big
Ricky Collins?
game Saturday, Joe.
Okay,
I need your focus back for this. It's the SEC. It just means more.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Oh, we are waiting for Major League Baseball today, and we are waiting for Yarvish on the mound for the San Diego Padres in the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. 3 games today, 1 in the afternoon, 1 right around dinner time, and 1 for the nightcap tonight. Love to see it. Winners advance, losers go home. It's the way it's supposed to be. It's what we love about the playoffs. But also, you know what you love about this time, Joe Ranieri? We like to reach out. We are a public show that deals with social media, and we need to hear from the people. Here's our Fade the Public poll. We know you're watching Major League Baseball today. We get it. But there's also an NFL game on tonight that is intriguing here because of who's going to play and who possibility has a chance to step up. At SportsGrid, our account on X, we asked the question today to you, the public. What are you betting tonight for 49ers versus Rams on Thursday Night Football? The answers were easy. An over and under, or the Rams, or the 49ers. That spread, 7.5 on both sides. Monster favorite here for the Rams at -7.5. And shout out, you see that hashtag up there? Eagles? Yeah, Eagles are always on our mind here at the Sports Grid Network. How about that? And where did you go, Joe?
Yeah, I went. We talked about this game earlier in the week because we had so many question marks with the 49ers. I went total wise, and I bet the under, and I still think the under is the way to go. And I might even look at the under early on in this game as well. I just don't see where the offense is going to come from here for the 49ers. Their best chance at this is to keep Stafford and company on the sideline. So maybe dink and dunk, use Robinson, use McCaffrey, try and keep the chains moving here. Don't think this is going to be some sort of wild and crazy shootout. I think Salah, even though he doesn't have Bosa, will be more than capable to limit on a short week what the Rams offensively want to do, which I think is going to be run the ball. So under for me in this one.
You know, Joe, you brought up a good point to start this show. It's not so much what the Rams can and can't do. It's what the 49ers can. Like, if the Rams, you think Sean McVay's playbook's like, I need to bust out the best plays of the year because we're going to have to score 45 points to beat this team. No. Usually that team's going to hang around. You'll, increase the lead by 6. You're up 9. You're up 12. There's no reason to throw the football down the field. You run the clock out. That could be a key ingredient tonight as opposed to, oh, no, we really have to score, which might not be the case for that Los Angeles Rams team. Should be a fun one to watch and bet, so make sure you keep here all day long on the Sports Grid Network for updates here and certainly which ways that you can bet. But how about this, Joe? Yesterday, profitability. You pushed your game. Fantastic. No big deal. I won my game yesterday. 1-0 as a team. Today, though, it's time for 2-0, and it's time for bye. We got football. We got baseball today, Joe. Where are you heading for your bye play of the day?
Well, Donnie, I'm going to go to the Chicago Cubs and the Padres game here today, and I'm going to look at the first 5 under. It's listed currently at 4.5. It wouldn't shock me if this drops down to 4 before the pitch, which I believe is going to be right around 5 o'clock here. So, great time for shadows at Wrigley. Always a good time. But the reality is, both of these bullpens, there is no tomorrow. They will both be available. They will both be emptied. Tyon has been very good down the stretch when he's come back here. Darvish has been here and done this before. But the bullpens, I love the bullpens. And we're not talking about 2 teams that have been, lighting it up offensively here. So I do think that this is going to be a little tight in an elimination game, especially given the time of day this is going to be. 4.5 runs, I think, is just too much for a series, Donnie, where, we've seen, 3 and 4 runs total in this thing? I don't see this being a slugfest because the bullpens will be involved before it gets out of hand, way before anything gets out of hand here.
All hands on deck in all 3 ball games today. I'm going to go to New York City. I'm going to head to the Bronx, the Boogie Down Bronx. And I'm going to take a look at a total in this game. Oh, he's definitely going under. No, he's not, people. I'm going over between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees at 7.5. Connolly Early is going to be on the starting mound today versus Cam Schlittler. 2 young pitchers in the biggest high-leverage situation they've ever seen. Now, Don, you might say, okay, they want me to go 2 innings apiece. I get that as well. There's way too many good batters in this game. Yesterday, I thought that game had a chance to go over, ended up 4-3. I definitely think we go over today. Who advances? That's the best guess. Cooler temperatures? Yeah, that's true. But today, we go over in the Bronx, Joe. I'm going with it. Fading the young pitchers. I'm fading the triple pens. Give me the runs today.
Let's go. Long ball it is, Donnie. And that's what's going to win that game and that series. Who can get the ball over the fence?
Seeing it right now. Jazz Chisholm wildly swings at the plate, pushes that game over. That'll do it for the show. For Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri, we will see you bright and early tomorrow once again for another episode of The Early Line.